No one in the Galactic Survey fleet had ever seen space behave like this. Commander Haven stood silently on the observation deck, watching the stars bend. Not warp, not distort, but like something massive, invisible, was pressing against reality itself. "Report," Haven said quietly. Lieutenant Sarah didn't respond immediately. Her 4 eyes remained fixed on the sensor display, flickering with unease. "I'm not sure how to classify this, Commander." That alone was enough to unsettle him. The Galactic Survey fleet didn't deal in uncertainty. They mapped black holes, documented collapsing stars, and charted neutron storm clusters without hesitation. Uncertainty meant something new, something unknown. And unknowns in deep space were rarely harmless. "Explain," Haven ordered. Sarah swallowed. "The region ahead, it's not empty space." Haven frowned. "Then what is it?" Sarah hesitated again. "It's quieter." The word hung in the air like a warning. Quiet. Space was never quiet. Even the cold vacuum buzzed with radiation, solar winds, and distant cosmic echoes. But the readings ahead showed something different. A silence so deep it almost felt artificial. "Distance?" Haven asked. 2 light hours." The bridge crew shifted uneasily. 2 light hours wasn't far. At sublight speeds, they would reach the region within minutes. "Send a probe." A small drone launched from the ship's undercarriage, disappearing into the darkness ahead. The crew watched. Seconds passed. Then the probe's transmission cut. No warning. No damage report. Just silence. Lieutenant Sarah's voice dropped. "Probe signal lost." Haven's mandibles tightened. "Cause?" "No debris, no radiation spike, nothing." The bridge grew colder. The probe hadn't been destroyed. It had simply vanished. Minutes later, the fleet moved forward. 3 survey vessels drifted cautiously into the silent region. Sensors strained. Scanners searched. Then something appeared. A star. But not just any star. A yellow dwarf. Common. Ordinary. Unremarkable. Except for where it was. "No catalog record," Sarah whispered. Haven leaned forward. "Impossible." Every star within explored space had been mapped centuries ago. "This region wasn't here before," Sarah said softly. The thought sent a ripple through the crew. A star system that had appeared where nothing existed before. That shouldn't be possible. But the sensors didn't lie. "Life signs?" Haven asked. Sarah scanned again. Her eyes widened. "I'm detecting a planetary system. 8 planets. Rocky worlds. Gas giants. Asteroid belts. Everything arranged in stable orbital harmony. Too perfect. Too natural. Too wrong." "Focus on 3rd planet," Haven ordered. The screen zoomed. A blue and white sphere rotated slowly beneath swirling cloud formations. Water. Massive oceans. Continents. Atmosphere. Habitable. The bridge stirred with excitement. "A garden world?" someone whispered. Haven allowed himself a small nod. But not unheard of. Something bothered him. Gravity? Sarah ran calculations. Her expression shifted. "Commander, gravity is higher than standard." "How high?" 1.3 galactic baseline. That was uncomfortable but survivable. Still, it wasn't ideal. "Atmospheric composition?" Sarah paused again. "Oxygen dominant, nitrogen, trace gases." She hesitated. "And?" "Toxic." The word chilled the room. "Toxic?" "Yes, Commander, oxygen levels are lethal to most known species." Excitement faded instantly. Garden worlds didn't try to kill visitors. Haven studied the planet again. Storm systems raged across the oceans. Lightning flashed continuously. Massive cloud formations twisted violently. "Weather activity?" he asked. Sarah checked again. "Extreme, planetary-scale storms, high-pressure winds, frequent electrical discharges." The planet looked less inviting by the second. "Temperature range?" "From frozen poles to tropical heat zones, severe seasonal shifts." Haven folded his arms. "So not a garden world." "No." "Commander." Silence returned. Then another officer spoke. Commander, detecting tectonic instability. Haven't turned. Clarify. Active plate movement, frequent seismic events, volcanic activity. A death world. Slow realization spread across the bridge. The beautiful blue planet was hiding a violent surface. Haven narrowed his eyes. Scan for life. Sarah bade. Seconds passed. Then her eyes widened. Commander, I'm detecting biological activity. Haven leaned forward. Primitive. Sarah scanned deeper. Her breathing slowed. Not primitive. The room held its breath. Industrial-level signatures detected. Silence fell. Industrial. On a death world. That shouldn't exist. No intelligent species evolved on planets this hostile. It violated every known galactic evolutionary model. Haven's voice lowered. Species classification? Sarah ran the final scan. Her voice became almost a whisper. Unknown, bipedal, tool using adaptable physiology. Haven felt something unfamiliar. Unease. What are they called? Sarah stared at the screen. Then spoke. Translating local designation. The crew waited. Her voice finally came. Humans. And across the silent star system, the blue death world turned slowly, unaware that the galaxy had just discovered its most dangerous species. Understood. I'll continue writing all parts sequentially. The bridge fell silent. No one spoke after the translation. Humans. The word meant nothing to most of the crew. Except one. Dr. Velron slowly stepped forward from the rear of the command deck. His usually calm expression had hardened. Commander, he said quietly. Haven't turned. You recognize the species? Velron hesitated. You have heard the name before. That alone was enough to draw everyone's attention. The Galactic Science Council catalogued over 12,000 intelligent species. Remembering one wasn't unusual, but the fear in Velron's voice was. What do you know? Haven asked. Velron didn't answer immediately. His eyes remained fixed on the blue planet rotating below. They weren't supposed to be real. A chill passed through the room. Explain. Velron inhaled slowly. Years ago, I studied forbidden evolutionary anomalies. Haven frowned. Forbidden? Species that shouldn't exist, planets where life shouldn't evolve, biological impossibilities. He gestured toward the planet. This matches one of those cases. Haven looked back at the screen. You're saying humans evolved on that death world? Velron nodded slowly. Yes, and that shouldn't be possible. Another officer leaned forward. Why? Velron activated a secondary scan. Data began appearing across the display. Gravity higher than galactic baseline, unstable climate, violent weather, toxic atmosphere, tectonic instability, predator-rich biosphere. Each line made the room colder. This is beyond standard death world classification, Velron continued. This is a Tier 1 death world. Murmurs spread across the bridge. Tier 1 worlds were extremely rare. Only the most extreme environments received that classification. And intelligent life evolved there? Haven asked. Velron nodded. Yes. How? Velron shook his head. We don't know. That answer unsettled everyone. Science always had explanations. Not knowing meant danger. Sarah zoomed further into the planetary surface. Cities appeared. Lights flickered across continents. Civilization. Advanced infrastructure. Industrial development confirmed, she whispered. Velron leaned closer. Scan biological resilience. Sarah complied. Seconds passed. Then her expression shifted. Commander, these readings. Haven watched carefully. Speak. They survive extreme temperature variation, high oxygen toxicity, radiation spikes, microbial density. She paused. And? They're omnivores. Velron stiffened. Omnivores? Yes. Silence. Most intelligent species were herbivores. Predators rarely evolved advanced intelligence. Omnivores were dangerous. They adapted faster. They survived more environments. They learned aggression and cooperation simultaneously. Velrun spoke quietly. That explains it. Haven looked at him. Explains what? Why humans exist. Another scan completed. Commander, detecting planetary conflicts. Haven narrowed his eyes. Define conflict. Sarah hesitated. They fight each other. Velrun exhaled slowly. Of course they do. Haven frowned. That concerns you? Velrun nodded. Commander, species from death worlds already evolve resilience, but species that survive death worlds and fight themselves. He didn't finish. He didn't need to. Everyone understood. Those species became dangerous. Technological level? Haven asked. Sarah checked. Pre-galactic, but rapidly advancing. Velrun whispered. Fast learners. Haven studied the planet again. Storms. Oceans. Cities. Conflict. Adaptation. Something about the species felt unsettling. Population estimate? Billions. The room went silent again. Billions. On a death world. That alone was terrifying. Velrun spoke quietly. Commander, if humans leave their world. Haven turned slowly. Yes. Velrun finished. They won't just survive the galaxy. He looked at the rotating blue world. They'll dominate it. No one argued. Because deep down, they all felt the same thing. Suddenly, a new signal appeared. Commander, detecting orbital structures. Haven leaned forward. Satellites. Yes, communications, observation, primitive weapons. Weapons. Already. Velrun shook his head. They're progressing faster than expected. Haven asked quietly. Threat level? Velrun answered without hesitation. Unknown, but potentially catastrophic. The commander studied the planet one last time. A peaceful blue world. Beautiful. But beneath the clouds, storms raged, wars burned, and a species evolved that should never have existed. Humans. And for the first time, the Galactic Survey fleet realized they might have just discovered the galaxy's future apex species. Commander Haven didn't look away from the planet. The more data arrived, the worse it became. Run full planetary hazard assessment, he ordered. Lieutenant Sarah nodded and initiated deep scan protocols. The ship's sensors expanded across the blue world, analyzing environmental threats in real time. Seconds later, the first warning appeared. Condition 1. Atmospheric instability. Commander, oxygen concentration fluctuates between safe and toxic thresholds, Sarah reported. Velrun stepped closer. Oxygen toxicity alone should prevent complex life. But humans didn't just survive. They thrived. That alone made them unusual. Condition 2. Extreme weather systems. Massive storms rolled across the oceans. Cyclones larger than entire cities rotated violently. Lightning storms illuminated entire continents. Electrical discharge frequency extremely high, Sarah said. Velrun's expression darkened. Constant lightning, violent wind patterns, unstable climate. Haven asked quietly, and they still survive? Yes, Commander. Condition 3. Gravity stress. Gravity remains 1.3 baseline. Velrun nodded slowly. That means their skeletal structure, muscular density, and cardiovascular systems must be significantly stronger than galactic average. Haven understood immediately. Stronger bodies, more endurance, more resilience. Humans weren't just surviving. They were evolving into something tougher. Condition 4. Predatory biosphere. The screen shifted. Massive creatures appeared. Sharp teeth. Plus, armored bodies. Ocean predators larger than spacecraft. Land predators capable of high-speed pursuit. Sarah swallowed. Commander, the predator density is extremely high. Velrun nodded, meaning humans evolved alongside constant threat. Haven said quietly, so they evolved fighting. Yes. Condition 5. Microbial density. Sarah's voice dropped. Commander, microbial ecosystem extremely aggressive, pathogens, bacteria, viruses. Velrun stiffened. That means their immune systems? Highly adaptive. Haven't understood. Humans fought invisible enemies every day. And survived. Condition 6, tectonic instability. Volcanoes erupted across continents. Earthquakes fractured landmasses. Tsunamis struck coastlines. Planet constantly reshaping itself, Sarah reported. Velrun whispered. They evolved in chaos. Condition 7, seasonal extremes. Frozen poles. Scorching deserts. Dense jungles. Storm-ridden oceans. Every extreme environment existed on one world. And humans lived in all of them. Haven shook his head. They adapted to everything. Velrun answered quietly. That's what makes Death World species dangerous, adaptability. Condition 8, natural disasters. Meteor strikes. Wildfires. Floods. Avalanches. The list kept growing. And humans kept surviving. The bridge grew silent. No one had ever seen a world like this. Not with intelligent life. Not with billions of inhabitants. Then Sarah spoke again. Commander, detecting warfare. Haven frowned. Scale. Sarah zoomed closer. Explosions. Naval vessels. Ground forces. Global conflicts. Velrun exhaled slowly. They fight each other on that world? Yes. Haven asked. And they still survive? Velrun answered. That means they learn. New data appeared. Commander, weapon development accelerating. Velrun studied the information. Projectile weapons, explosives, chemical warfare. He stopped. Then another reading appeared. Radiation-based weapons. Silence. Haven turned slowly. Radiation? Velrun nodded. They split the atom. The bridge fell completely silent. Splitting the atom meant nuclear weapons, planet-killing potential. And they developed that on a death world. Population stability? Haven asked. Yes, despite conflicts, disasters, and environment. Velrun shook his head. Commander, humans aren't just surviving. He looked at the blue world again. They're thriving. Then another alert appeared. Commander, orbital launches detected. Haven leaned forward. Spaceflight? Yes. Primitive rockets left the planet's surface. Crude, but functional. Velrun whispered. They're already reaching space. Haven felt something unfamiliar. Concern. Because once humans left their death world, nothing in the galaxy would prepare them for what came next. The galaxy was safer. Easier. Less hostile. Humans would adapt quickly. Too quickly. Haven folded his arms. Doctor, final assessment. Velrun spoke slowly. Species evolved in extreme danger, adapted to constant threats, developed advanced intelligence, and now entering space. He looked at the rotating blue world. Commander, humans are not just another species. Haven asked quietly. Then what are they? Velrun answered. A species forged by survival. He paused. And survival makes them unpredictable. The blue planet rotated silently beneath them. Storms raged. Lightning flashed. Wars burned. And billions of humans continued living, unaware that the galaxy had just discovered something far more dangerous than any empire. A species that evolved on chaos. A species that survived the impossible. A species called humans. The bridge remained silent as the blue world rotated beneath them. Commander Haven studied the data, but something still felt incomplete. Scan for technological density, he ordered. Lieutenant Sarah initiated the deeper scan. The sensors penetrated cloud layers, oceans, and continental regions. Seconds later, lights began appearing across the display. Cities. Thousands of them. Massive urban centers stretching across continents. Haven leaned forward. Population clusters confirmed? Yes, Commander, billions of life signs. Velrun's expression hardened. On a death world. No one spoke. This alone broke multiple galactic evolutionary laws. But then something else appeared. Movement. Aircraft crossed the skies. Ships sailed across oceans. Ground vehicles filled urban pathways. Infrastructure, industry, civilization, technological advancement level? Haven't asked. Sarah analyzed further. Industrial age approaching early digital civilization. Velrin narrowed his eyes. Fast progression. Then the sensors detected something unexpected. Energy signatures. Haven frowned. Explain. Sarah zoomed in. Electrical grid networks, global communications, satellite systems. Velrin spoke quietly. They mastered electricity. This was significant. Electricity was the foundation of advanced civilization. And humans had achieved it on a world trying to kill them. Another scan completed. Commander, detecting artificial structures in orbit. Haven leaned forward. Orbital platforms? Yes. Satellites, communication arrays, observational systems. Velrin whispered, they're already leaving their atmosphere. Haven crossed his arms. They're progressing too quickly. Suddenly, another alert appeared. Commander, detecting structured transmissions. Sarah enhanced the signal. Sound patterns. Repeating waveforms. Mathematical sequences. Language. Haven's voice lowered. They're communicating. Velrin nodded slowly. Intelligent, organized, adaptive communication. Sarah began decoding. Fragments of human broadcasts filled the display. Voices. Music. Data streams. Images. Civilization in motion. Then one transmission stood out. A launch. A rocket ascending into space. Primitive, but functional. The crew watched silently. Velrin whispered, they're reaching beyond their world. Haven asked quietly, how long before they achieve interstellar capability? Velrin calculated. At current rate, centuries, maybe less. That was too fast. Far too fast. Then another alert appeared. Commander, military structures detected. Haven frowned. Military? Sarah zoomed. Bases. Vehicles. Weapons. Naval fleets. Air combat units. Velrin exhaled slowly. They evolved conflict alongside technology. Haven asked, how frequent? Sarah scanned further. Constant. Regional conflicts, global wars. Velrin closed his eyes briefly. They don't just survive danger. He opened them again. They create it. Another reading appeared. Commander, historical energy spike detected. Haven looked closer. What caused it? Sarah hesitated. High-yield explosive signatures, multiple global impact. Velrin's expression darkened. Nuclear detonations. The bridge went silent. Haven turned slowly. They weaponized atomic energy? Velrin nodded. Yes. Haven looked back at the blue world. Storms. Was atomic weapons. And billions of humans. This species wasn't just resilient. It was dangerous. Suddenly, another discovery appeared. Commander, detecting artificial intelligence research. Velrin stiffened. They're already experimenting with machine intelligence? Yes, early stage, but progressing. Haven folded his arms. So they evolve biologically on a death world, then accelerate technologically. Velrin finished quietly. Yes, that's what makes them unpredictable. Then the final scan completed. Commander, cultural diversity detected. Haven frowned. Clarify. Multiple languages, multiple societies, independent technological development across continents. Velrin nodded slowly. That means parallel evolution. Haven understood immediately. Multiple competing civilizations. Multiple innovations. Faster advancement. Faster adaptation. The bridge crew watched silently as the blue world rotated. Lightning flashed across continents. Cities glowed in darkness. War machines moved across land and sea. And billions of humans continued building, learning, adapting. Velrin spoke quietly. Commander, this species isn't just intelligent. Haven looked at him. Then what are they? Velrin answered. They're evolving. He paused. And nothing in the galaxy evolves faster than a species born on a death world. Haven studied the planet one last time. A beautiful blue world. Peaceful from orbit. Violent beneath the clouds. And somewhere on that world, a species was growing, learning, preparing, unaware that the galaxy had just discovered them, unaware that their existence alone threatened galactic balance, unaware that they were about to become legends. Commander Haven remained silent for a long moment. The bridge lights reflected across the blue world below, but the atmosphere had changed. What had started as scientific curiosity had become something else. Concern. Dr. Velrin, Haven said quietly, have humans ever been encountered before? Velrin hesitated. That hesitation alone drew everyone's attention. I don't know for certain, he finally said. Haven narrowed his eyes. That's not reassuring. Velrin nodded slowly. There are old records. The bridge grew still. Records? Haven asked. Fragmented reports, incomplete transmissions, unexplained incidents. Haven stepped closer. What kind of incidents? Velrin activated an archived database. Several faded files appeared. Most were corrupted. Some incomplete. One remained partially intact. Velrin opened it. Archived report, restricted classification. Unknown species encountered near outer trade corridor. Description, bipedal. Dense musculature. High endurance. Extreme adaptability. Combat capability beyond expectation. The crew exchanged uneasy looks. Haven folded his arms. That could describe many species. Velrin nodded. Yes, but there's more. He opened another corrupted file. Archived incident log. Cargo vessel boarded by unknown species. Crew expected surrender. Instead, unknown species resisted. Close quarters engagement. Result. Cargo vessel disabled. Crew incapacitated. Unknown species escaped. Sarah spoke quietly. One individual? Velrin nodded. According to the report, yes. Silence followed. One individual disabling a cargo vessel wasn't impossible, but unusual. Velrin opened another file. This one more damaged. Only fragments remained. Fragmented transmission. Unknown species extremely resilient. Injuries non-lethal. Continues fighting. Recommend avoidance. Transmission ended. The bridge fell quiet. Haven studied the data. These could be unrelated incidents. Velrin nodded. They could be. But he didn't sound convinced. Then Sarah spoke again. Commander, I'm detecting something unusual. Haven turned. Explain. Biological readings from humans. She hesitated. They produce internal electrical signals, stronger than standard galactic species. Velrin leaned forward. How strong? Significantly higher neural activity, bioelectric field fluctuations. Velrin whispered. Interesting. Haven asked. Is that dangerous? Velrin considered. Not necessarily, but unusual. He paused. Some rare species develop enhanced reflexes due to strong bioelectric activity. Haven looked back at the planet. So humans might be faster? Velrin nodded. Possibly stronger too. Another scan completed. Commander, skeletal density higher than galactic average. Velrin nodded slowly. That confirms gravity adaptation. Haven asked quietly, and muscle density? Sarah checked. Higher, endurance capability also elevated. Velrin exhaled softly. They're built for survival. The bridge remained silent again. Then another officer spoke. Commander, cultural patterns detected. Haven gestured. Explain. Humans celebrate survival, conflict, competition. Velrin nodded. That fits Death World psychology. Haven asked. Meaning? Velrin answered. They don't fear struggle, they embrace it. Another scan completed. Commander, historical conflict frequency extremely high. Velrin closed his eyes briefly. They learn through conflict. Haven folded his arms. So they get stronger every time they fight. Yes. Suddenly, a new alert appeared. Commander, detecting early space defense systems. Haven leaned forward. Defense? Yes, orbital detection, missile tracking, planetary surveillance. Velrun whispered. They're preparing. Haven frowned. For what? Velrun looked at the rotating blue world. For threats. He paused. Real or imagined, doesn't matter. The crew watched quietly. Storms continued. Lightning flashed. Human cities glowed. And a species continued evolving faster than expected. Haven finally spoke. Doctor, final assessment. Velrun answered slowly. Species evolved in extreme danger, adapted biologically, accelerated technologically, and possibly encountered before. He looked at the planet again. Commander, humans may already be legends, we just didn't recognize them. Haven felt unease settle deeper. Because legends usually came from conflict. And if humans were already creating legends, then the galaxy wasn't ready for what came next. The blue death world rotated silently. And somewhere below, billions of humans lived, fought, learned, all adapted, unaware that they had just entered the galactic stage. The discovery changed everything. Commander Haven authorized extended observation. Maintain high orbit, he ordered. No contact. No interference. The crew complied. But the universe rarely followed careful plans. Commander, Sarah said suddenly. New object detected leaving planetary atmosphere. Haven leaned forward. Trajectory. Unstable, primitive propulsion, but it's heading toward orbital altitude. Velrun's eyes widened. A human spacecraft. The entire bridge focused on the display. The small vessel pushed through the clouds, engines struggling against gravity. Compared to galactic ships, it looked crude. Metal plating. Visible seams. Unrefined propulsion. But it was climbing. And that alone mattered. Commander, it's approaching our position. Haven hesitated. Can they detect us? Sarah scanned. Unlikely, our stealth systems remain active. Velrun watched silently. Still, they're reaching space earlier than expected. The vessel stabilized in orbit. Then something unexpected happened. Commander, human craft deploying small probe. Haven frowned. Toward us? Yes, slow velocity. The probe drifted through space. Primitive sensors extended. Radio transmissions began. Velrun listened carefully. They're scanning. Haven asked quietly, do they know we're here? Sarah shook her head. Not yet, but they're searching. The probe drifted closer. Closer. Then suddenly, Commander! Probe just locked onto an anomaly. Haven's expression tightened. Our cloaking field? Yes, minor distortion detected. Velrun whispered. They noticed. The primitive probe began transmitting rapidly. Human voices filled the audio channel. Excited. Confused. Alert. They know something is here, Sarah confirmed. Haven made a decision. Prepare passive communication. The crew looked surprised. Commander! We don't initiate contact, but we observe their reaction. The probe moved closer. Then suddenly, a burst of electromagnetic interference struck the probe. The human craft responded immediately. Commander, they're recalling the probe. Velrun nodded slowly. Cautious, intelligent. The human spacecraft began adjusting trajectory. Slowly, carefully. It approached the distortion. Haven leaned forward. They're investigating. Velrun whispered. Curiosity, another death world trait. The human vessel came closer. Much closer now. The bridge crew could see it clearly. Scratched hole. Thermal wear. Evidence of rough launch. But inside, humans. Real humans. The first confirmed encounter. Commander! Sarah said quietly. Life signs confirmed. Haven's voice lowered. How many? 3. Velrun studied the readings. Heart rates elevated, but stable. Haven folded his arms. They're nervous. Yes, but they're still approaching. Then suddenly, a small mechanical arm extended from the human vessel. It released another device. This one smaller. More refined. Velrun tilted his head. They're improving even during mission. The device floated closer. The cloaking field flickered slightly. For less than a second. But it was enough. The human vessel reacted instantly. Commander, they saw us. Haven's gaze hardened. What are they doing? The human ship didn't retreat. It moved closer. Silence filled the bridge. Velrun whispered, "They're not afraid." Haven responded quietly, "Or they're too curious to care." Then something unexpected happened. The human ship transmitted. A simple signal. Repeated pattern. Velrun analyzed. Mathematical sequence. Haven nodded. Universal communication attempt. The humans were trying to talk. Already. Velrun seemed impressed. They're fast learners. Haven considered options. Respond with minimal signal. Sarah complied. A simple mathematical response transmitted back. Seconds passed. Excited human voices filled the channel. They received it. The human ship moved even closer. Velrun studied their bio readings. Adrenaline spike elevated excitement. Haven asked, "They're excited?" "Yes." "Not fear." "Excitement." The crew exchanged uneasy looks. Most species reacted with fear. Humans reacted with curiosity. Then something unexpected occurred. The human vessel attempted a docking maneuver. The entire bridge froze. "Commander, they're trying to dock." Haven immediately raised his hand. Defensive protocols, passive only. The human craft adjusted course carefully. Slow. Deliberate. Not aggressive. Just curious. Velrun whispered, "They want to meet us." The vessel stopped a short distance away. No weapons. No threats. Just waiting. 3 humans, floating beside an alien warship they couldn't fully see. And instead of fleeing, they stayed. Haven spoke quietly. "Doctor, final assessment." Velrun answered slowly. Curious, respectable, intelligent. He looked at the human ship. "Commander, humans don't run from the unknown." Haven watched the small vessel floating in silence. Then he asked, "And what happens when a species like that enters the galaxy?" Velrun answered softly, "They change it." The first human ship floated beside them. Tiny, primitive, but fearless. And the galaxy had just experienced its first human encounter. The small human vessel remained motionless beside the cloaked alien ship. 3 life signs. All steady. All waiting. Commander Haven watched carefully. "They're not leaving." Velrun shook his head slowly. "No, they're studying us." Then suddenly, "Commander," human vessel airlock opening. The bridge went silent. Haven leaned forward. "They're doing what?" "Airlock depressurizing, environmental suit detected." Velrun's eyes widened. "They're going outside." The small hatch on the human vessel opened. A figure slowly emerged. For the first time, they saw a human. The figure moved carefully into open space. Bulky suit. Tether attached. Movements cautious, but controlled. Velrun studied the readings. Suit protection minimal compared to galactic standards. Haven frowned. "They risk exposure?" "Yes, but they're still doing it." The human drifted slowly closer. No hesitation. No fear. Just curiosity. The human reached out. Gloved hand extended toward empty space. Toward the cloaked ship. The bridge crew watched silently. Velrun whispered, "That you're trying to touch us." Haven folded his arms. Curiosity overriding fear again. Then something unexpected happened. The human tapped gently against the invisible cloaking field. A faint ripple appeared. The human pulled back slightly. Then leaned closer. Tapped again. Curiosity. Testing. Learning. Velrun whispered, "They're experimenting." Inside the human helmet, cameras transmitted data back to their ship. Excited voices filled the channel again. The human outside responded with gestures. Simple signals. Communication. Haven watched carefully. "They're coordinated." Velrun nodded. "Explorers." The humans slowly moved along the invisible hull. Studying. Observing. Recording. The human stopped suddenly. Velrin looked at the readings. Heart rate spike. Haven narrowed his eyes. What happened? The human looked toward space. Toward something distant. Sarah scanned. Commander, micrometeors swarm approaching. Haven's expression hardened. Trajectory. Passing near both vessels. Velrin whispered. That human is exposed. Tiny fragments of rock and metal rushed through space. Not large enough to threaten the alien ship, but deadly to an exposed human. Haven watched silently. Will they retreat? Velrin shook his head. They might not realize the danger. The human paused. Then looked toward their ship. They seemed to understand. The human began moving back. But slowly. Too slowly. The micrometeor swarm approached rapidly. Velrin whispered. They won't make it in time. Then something surprising happened. The human changed movement pattern. Instead of panicking, they pushed off hard. Much faster than expected. Velrin's eyes widened. Muscle output high. The human accelerated quickly. Using controlled bursts. Efficient. Precise. Haven watched carefully. They adapted instantly. Fragments streaked past. Some bounced off the human suit. One struck the tether. The line snapped. The bridge crew froze. The human drifted free. Untethered. Floating into open space. Inside the human ship, voices spiked. Alarm. Urgency. The human rotated slowly. Evaluating. No panic. Just calculation. Velrin whispered. They're staying calm. The human looked toward their vessel. Distance growing. They activated small maneuver thrusters. Primitive, but functional. They corrected trajectory. Slowly, carefully. Returning. Haven watched closely. They're solving the problem. Velrin nodded. Under pressure. More fragments passed. The humans shielded themselves using their body orientation. Protecting suit joints. Minimizing damage. Instinctive survival behavior. Velrin whispered. They've done dangerous things before. Finally, the human reached their ship. Crew inside pulled them in quickly. Airlock sealed. Pressure restored. The bridge remained silent. Haven spoke quietly. They faced danger and adapted instantly. Velrin nodded. That's Death World survival. Haven looked at the human ship again. One individual, and already impressive. Velrin answered. And that's just a civilian explorer. Silence followed. If a civilian showed this level of resilience, what would trained humans be like? Soldiers? Explorers? Engineers? The human vessel stabilized again. Another transmission. Mathematical sequence again. But this time, followed by something new. Velrin decoded. Commander, they're sending greetings. Haven stared at the small ship. First contact. Fearless. Curious. Adaptive. Resilient. And now, friendly. Haven spoke quietly. Doctor, I think we just met the future. Velrin answered softly. Yes, and the galaxy isn't ready. The human ship floated beside them. 3 explorers. Unaware that their simple mission had just changed galactic history. Unaware that their species was about to become known. And feared. Across the stars. The human ship remained beside them. Silent. Waiting. Commander Haven studied the vessel one last time. Primitive. But now is significant. Dr. Velrin? Haven said quietly, what happens next? Velrin didn't answer immediately. Because at that exact moment, another alert appeared. Commander, multiple launches detected from the planet. The entire bridge turned toward the display. Rockets. More than one. Several human spacecraft lifting from the surface. Velrin's voice dropped. They're expanding. Haven narrowed his eyes. Timing. Likely coincidence, or response to earlier orbital activity. The rockets climbed slowly. Primitive, but determined. One after another. Humanity was reaching outward. Then something even more surprising appeared. Commander, transmissions increasing globally. Velrin listened carefully. They're sharing data. Haven understood immediately. The explorers are reporting back. Velron nodded. And humanity is learning. The small human vessel transmitted again. This time, longer. Structured. Velron decoded. His expression shifted. Commander, they're asking permission. Haven tilted his head. For what? Velron answered quietly. To continue exploration and establish peaceful contact. Silence filled the bridge. The first human request. Peaceful. Curious. Respectful. Haven considered carefully. Send acknowledgement. Sarah transmitted a simple mathematical confirmation. The human vessel responded immediately. Excited voices again. Velron almost smiled. They're happy. But then, another alert. Commander, long-range detection, incoming vessels. Haven's expression hardened. Human. Sarah scanned. No alien signatures. Velron leaned forward. Multiple ships, unknown origin. The bridge atmosphere shifted instantly. First contact, and now outsiders. Haven spoke calmly. Distance. Several hours. Velron whispered. They might have detected the same anomaly. Haven looked back at the human vessel. They're not prepared for this. The human ship remained unaware. Still transmitting friendly signals. Still floating peacefully beside them. Vulnerable. Haven felt something unexpected. Responsibility. Doctor, what happens if hostile species arrive? Velron answered quietly. Humanity's first contact becomes first conflict. Haven watched the approaching signals. He made a decision. Transmit warning to human vessel. Sarah sent a simple mathematical alert. The human ship paused. Then responded. Velron decoded. They understand. They're preparing to retreat. The small vessel slowly began pulling away. Returning toward planetary orbit. Careful. Measured. Still calm. More launches from Earth. Additional human ships. Responding to unknown signals. Velron watched silently. They're coming to help. Haven asked quietly. They don't know the threat. Velron nodded. They just know their own are in danger. That alone said everything about humanity. The human vessels formed a loose defensive cluster. Primitive, but coordinated. Fearless. Haven studied them. They're protecting each other. Velron whispered. Pack behavior, survival instinct. The unknown alien ships moved closer. Still distant, but coming. Humanity's first test. And they didn't even realize it. Haven looked at the blue world one last time. Storm still raged. Lightning flashed. Civilization glowed. And humanity was stepping into the stars. Velron spoke quietly. Commander, today we discovered a species. Haven nodded slowly. No. He watched the human ships forming together. We discovered something else. Velron looked at him. What? Haven answered. A species that refuses to be alone. The human vessels continued forming. 3 became 5. 5 became 8. Primitive, but united. The unknown alien fleet slowed. Likely scanning. Likely observing. Just as Haven's ship had done. History repeating. Velron whispered. They'll see what we saw. Haven nodded. And they'll realize. He paused. They're not ready either. The blue world rotated silently. Human ships floated above it. Alien ships approached. And the galaxy was about to change. Then the final human transmission arrived. Velron decoded slowly. His expression softened. Commander, the message reads. He paused. Then spoke. We come in peace and curiosity. Silence filled the bridge. Simple. Honest. Human. Haven looked at the human vessels one last time. Fragile, but fearless. He spoke quietly. Doctor, record this moment. Velron nodded. Already recording. Haven finished. The day humanity entered the galaxy. Far below, storms continued. Lightning flashed. And billions of humans lived their lives, unaware that their future had just begun. Because humanity wasn't just stepping into space. Humanity was stepping into legend.